You're here, I'm pleased, I really feel your company. Your style, your smile, your pace mentality. Lord, have mercy on me. I was blind, now I can see what a king's supposed to be.
Excuse me, miss. I was in the waiting room when you gave your testimony. And what I realized is that we have an enemy in common. While you were being called to the office again, I was being put out the only home I've ever known. While you were shaking with anxiety and fear over something no one ever wants to hear, I was shaking in dread. Because we all know what happens to little girls that have no home and no one to claim them. I think our souls passed each other by. See, my soul left me a long time ago in a dingy motel room, ripped away by brutal force. It fled, unable to find its way back home.
Historical people, who would you want in your seat and why?
Wow. I guess because I'm different. You know, I'm not really starstruck. And so it would be hard to really pinpoint anybody in particular. First person that just came to my mind, you know, I mean, if I had an opportunity to cut Denzel, you know, I would.
That's a good one.
I'd do that.
That would be a dope conversation.
Exactly.
How important is diversity in your work, considering you grew up in a bilingual, bicultural home?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very important. I think at this point, just in society, there's just so much diversity. You know, whether it be in language, whether it be in your upbringing, whether it be, you know, in whatever that is. And so I think growing up in, you know, a bilingual household as well as really a bicultural, despite the fact that, you know, my parents are you know, both of Hispanic descent, but growing up in two different cultures of, you know, very traditional values in the home and very different, and sometimes similar values, right, outside of the home, but in different ways, right?
Yeah.
And so,
he tests those whom he loves. I pray he continues to love me till my death. I pray he continues testing me and testing me and testing me until I have no questions left. Until I can ingest knowledge and choke on lies and spit out truth with every breath. But you see, until love for what he loves and hate for what he hates is the only thing that's left within my chest. I know that I will constantly fight to love what's right because I was created with a heart that sits slightly to the left. But I'm okay with that. Because I always knew and always know that he knows exactly what is best. You see, he knew that it would only be a matter of time before I would open my eyes and finally realize that I needed to look deep down inside and pull out the divide so that my heart and my mind would collide and learn to work together.
What's going on? What's going on, my good people, online community? We are back for another impactful, insightful episode of Ordinary Conversations with Extraordinary People as we continue to celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month and its culture. I believe we have a great guest on today's show. Without further ado, let me get to her introduction. She is a Texas-based poet, playwright, director, and multimedia performer. She was named Best Poet of Austin by the Austin Chronicle back in 1997. Which sharing her art across U.S., Mexico, and even Nepal. She is the founder of Sound Culture, producing innovative and socially conscious stage performances, spoken word events, and collaborative art projects. Her groundbreaking work has earned support from Humanities Texas, the Ford Foundation, and the National Association of Latino Arts and Culture. And last but not least, she is a committed environmentalist and urban gardener, living car-free and continues to create art that sparks dialogue, connection, and change. Online community, in-person family. Let's give a warm welcome to Miss Tammy Gomez.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
I'm happy to be here today. Thanks.
Yes. I'm glad to bring you on. I know you're a friend of Michael, so he was like, we got to bring her on the show and get to know her. So just kind of, I always like to kick off the show allowing our guests to kind of share their childhood, their upbringing, and how that impacted their life to where they are today.
I'm originally from West Texas. That's 3 hours west of Tarrant County in Stamford, which is Jones County. But my parents, in their 20s, decided they wanted to bring us up, their children, in the big city. So we gradually made our way to Fort Worth. And so from the early to mid 60s, Fort Worth became my home. And the home that my parents bought when they landed in Fort Worth is still the house my mother lives in to this day.
Wow.
And so it is the home of homes for me, no matter how far I've traveled or where I've been educated or worked or lived. That beautiful home in 76115 neighborhood is really a focal point for a lot of history and great memories and love that has been shared. And then I went to college. I went to Pasco High School in Fort Worth, and then decided also I wanted to branch out and leave Texas. So I applied to colleges that were all women because I felt that would be important for me as a young female of color, that I wanted to be in a milieu, an academic environment where girls, females, women were the center.
Yeah.
We're at the center, so that our student council presidents would all be women, so that our mascots, athletic mascots, would be women, so that the leaders, the people to raise their hands first in classrooms, would be women. I needed to see that. I needed to be surrounded in that kind of environment to help get me where I wanted to be in terms of my own confidence, self-esteem, building and growing my own voice, internal voice, like what I think about, and choosing what are my principles and values that I want to espouse and then carry out in public life. And then also my actual physical voice, which you're hearing right now, which I wanted to grow that to be accomplished, to be confident. And because English is the language, it's an international language of business.
Yeah.
But it's also the language that's predominant here where I live, here in the U.S. So.
Yeah. I love it how you mentioned home and the home that your mother still has, to this day. I can relate to that because my grandmother, Ola, who passed October of last year, we still have her home, to this day. Before she passed, she was 85 years old. And so this house that we have, we want to keep it in the family because it's been through generation after generation after generation. So what I'm hearing from you, I hear legacy, I hear history, making sure that we keep that going. And so there's so much memories. You don't want to just give up something.
It's like a family museum.
Yeah,
it's a historical heritage site. It may not have the big plaque on the outside of the building,
right.
or it may not be recognized by the Association of Museums, but in your heart of hearts, if you know, that is a special place. That's mama's house or grandmama's house.
Right.
Right now I'm in an exhibit. I'm going to jump ahead real quick in this art gallery that's called Kinfolk House in East Fort Worth. And Kinfolk House is owned now by Cedric Huckabee, who's an African-American artist himself, used to teach at UTA, used to teach art. He's retired from that. He inherited his grandma's house in Poly. In East Fort Worth, and he has converted his grandma's house into a gallery.
Wow.
It's Kinfolk House. So no one lives in it, but it is now an art gallery, but he preserves the integrity of it because he wants people to respect the space and to honor it when they're present in the gallery now. But yeah, he grew up on that property.
Wow, that's amazing.
And you can feel it when you're there in the back or front yard or inside the building.
Yeah.
Just how homey it is and how so much love was exchanged there with the family members meeting there for, gatherings, holidays, grandma's good cooking.
Yes.
So anyway, that ties in with family respecting the home,
The home.
of the elders. Yeah.
Yes, yes. That's definitely something. I never heard of that. I had to go check that out.
Kinfolk House. Yeah.
Kinfolk
It's
House.
kinfolkhouse.org.
Gotcha, gotcha. You mentioned earlier also about the importance of connecting with women and being around women and being in these places and even the schools. Why is that so important to you to make sure that you were in those circles with these women?
Well, I think it's about the societal measurement or estimation of my potential and capability that I felt from an early age.
Yeah.
And this is I'm talking about the 1960s, 1970s in North Texas. We have so much going on right now for all our youth of color coming up, and so much opportunity and activities and events. It was kind of like very sparse, like a cultural desert for a lot of folks and like me coming up during that time. And so I felt like I had to climb out of the box
Yeah,
that I
yeah.
was being put in. Like, oh, you're short, you got that skin color, you're female. We're gonna expect maybe this and this and this from you, but not really expecting more. And I thought,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
no, don't do that to me.
Yeah.
Lift that ceiling a little higher, please.
Yes.
And I want that to be an example for all people, regardless of gender or ethnic background, historical background,
Yeah.
that we should always feel like there's nothing capping us.
Yes.
Don't be that flea jumping in the jar with the top on. We've
yes,
all
yes.
heard that metaphor. After a while, the flea stops jumping higher because there's a cap on. And
I love
so
that.
we gotta just elevate yourself beyond the expectations of what society measures you
Yeah.
against. And so that's why it's important to me
Wow.
still to this day. And for all the younger people that I get to be around or try to mentor, I do a lot of mentoring. So
that's amazing.
That's important to impart that to them.
Yeah. I can relate to that. Me being a short guy in stature as well.
You don't play for the NBA. No.
Having like you mentioned, the limitations, the world putting limitations on you and different things. And so I just found ways to overcome that, and knowing that I had, other gifts to give, to the society and to the world. And so, no, I definitely agree with what you're saying, making sure that we're not limiting ourselves, no matter what your status is, no matter what your background is, how you grew up, your ethnic background, like you mentioned. I believe none of those things matter. And so I believe we all have things on the inside of us that we can give out, to the world. So
Truth.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Take us back. Talk about the moment when you first realized that poetry and performance started to become your path. When you realized, like, okay, this is something that I want to do. I enjoy it. I love it. When was that aha moment?
Do you want the sassy answer first?
You give us both.
The sassy answer is I learned from a young age that when you're on the stage, and especially if there's a microphone in front of you, you have the floor.
Yes.
You know that concept of I have the floor, who has the floor? Well, whoever's on the mic at the moment and on a platform or stage or at a podium, and believe me, I hate podiums because they usually come up to, you barely see my eyes, and I have to bring in, milk crates or things to stand
on
up so you
top.
can see me.
Yeah.
I've done that before because you will see me, or I'll go off to the side so you see me. I will not be hidden behind that platform.
That's good.
But podium. But yeah, it's about that. That's my sassy answer. Like, I want to be heard. I want to be seen. And if I have something, if I've cultivated a thought, because I fully do not believe in speaking before you've thought about what you're going to speak.
Yeah.
Best put it through a little bit of a grind first before you share it with others, so that you don't have any regrets about what you put out there. But also, I love poetry. I love the use of language in playful and creative and expository and informational ways. And we consume today a lot of media. And what usually captures our attention is when people are really adept at language, using whatever language they use. Spanish, Russian, English is what I predominantly use. I learn from others who are really sharp. I love stand-up comedy. I love a lot of like hip-hop poetry is really coming of age, and I love the purveyors of that kind of craft. But I also love old school poetry. Maya Angelou
Yes,
was one of
yes.
the first. I was in college
Yeah.
at that women's college called Goucher in Maryland, and they used to bring special guests to come and perform for us. And it was always free for students because we were students there. And I was sitting in the dining hall, and hey, are you going to study? No, I don't feel like studying. Well, I think there's some guest speaker coming tonight. Oh yeah, who is it? Oh, it's some poet. Oh, you want to go? Oh, okay, sure. I didn't even know who I was going to see
Wow.
because this was the 80s. Not a
Wow.
lot of people knew who Maya Angelou was in the general audience in the U.S. And when she started speaking, when she took the floor and owned it for over an hour, I was enthralled, and I just got out all the papers I had, little bits of paper, because I wasn't intending to take notes. I was writing down everything.
Yes. Being a
Authors, she
student.
mentioned poets. I became her student in that moment. And I'd seen her maybe like a total of 3 times before she passed. But I decided I want to be the Latina version of her.
Wow. I love it. What are some of your practices, or what does that routine look like for you? Because you mentioned being on these platforms, being on stage, making sure that you're seen, making sure that you're heard. So what does that preparation look like for Miss Tammy?
It means reading a lot, which I've done over the years. My mom can vouch for that. And thank you for being here, Mom.
Thank you, Mom.
Reading a lot, listening to others, listening to wise people, but also listening to foolish people, because you learn, like, oh, that's a rhetoric that doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah,
Talking in circles, no, I don't want to do that. And what I want to do and espouse myself, it's almost like programming yourself, or
yeah.
human learning, like not machine learning AI, but you're training to the lecturers, the performers, the
Yes.
inspiring, wise people around you in your midst. Hopefully you have a lot of them are in your midst, and you train on them so that when it's time for you to speak, for you to take the mic, oh, you're ready. But also other things like studying art. I've studied dance. I've studied literature writing, creative writing. And I think it's important to tell young people to elevate yourself by finding people who are also trying to elevate themselves. Yeah.
I like
Good
that.
comrades and peers that encourage you and cheer you on, but also who are people you want to cheer on and help elevate further.
Yes, I agree. I think it's very important in being connected, to the right people. Like you mentioned, for you to grow, for you to get better, for you to continue to become the better version of yourself, you have to find those people in those circles so that you can elevate, like you mentioned. I think that's very, very important. For you, you were named Best Poet of Austin 1997. I'm assuming that was probably a pivotal moment for you. So, how did that recognition shape your creative journey, getting that award?
That award was, I think it was voted on by readers of the Austin Chronicle. So when that showed up in that issue, the Best of Austin issue that year, I just felt true validation that people I was living around, the citizens of Austin, had decided that I'd earned that
Yeah.
title. But also when I get awards like that, I know that I have to now work to earn the next one. You do not rest forever on your accolades and laurels. There are new ones to be earned. And so do not fall back on the award from 1952 or 72 or 82. You got to keep being the new you
Yes,
and
I love that.
unveiling
That's
and
good.
showing inner layers, more layers of the true onion inside.
Yeah.
And hopefully a sweet onion. But yeah, it's about that, and it's also about the whole thing about being a female of color, a woman of color. Like, oh wow, like this is a general award. This wasn't like best Hispanic poet. This was overall.
Overall,
Yeah,
yeah.
and like I wasn't trying for that. I'm just trying to be my best, poet self.
Yeah.
And I got that. And then of course I keep I started working the next day. I did go out and celebrate. Went out to a Puerto Rican restaurant, had really good food, and then the next day you get up and you go, okay, fresh start. I don't rest too long on the laurels.
Yeah, yeah. It's crazy you mentioned that. I'm a big sports guy, and I was listening to a post-game interview with Jalen Hurts, quarterback for the Eagles, and he was saying how I'm not dwelling on the Super Bowl that we just recently won. I'm making sure that that's already happened. We won. We've celebrated. Let's move on to the next one. Let's see what we can do to be better going into this next season. So we're not dwelling on past celebrations. So I like how you worded that, and I think that's important because sometimes we can get stuck there and we're not really moving forward. So no, I love the
It's
way
how to build a career
Yeah.
and then a true legacy that goes on beyond the length of your physical human life. But also it keeps you aspiring,
Yes, yes.
pushing.
Yeah, keeps you moving forward. You performed in U.S., Mexico, and even Nepal. What did performing internationally teach you about the art and connection in those spaces? Nepal, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I didn't intend to perform, but I connected with poets and artists there
Yeah.
in the capital city of Kathmandu, and they asked me to read. They wanted to know when I mentioned that I was a writer. Then they started inviting me to their salons, their gathering places, their poetry readings, and believe me, they take it very seriously in Nepal because the readings would last 3 to 5 hours,
Sheesh.
including a panel of esteemed elders in academia who would give critiques. A person would go up, a poet would go and read from their work,
Right.
and then there'd be this panel of academic critics, and they'd each speak for about 10 to 20 minutes, kind of giving their analysis of what the poet just said, and it would last a long time, and there was no wine and cheese, so it was very very dry, very serious, but I love that commitment to that literary art form, and
I love that.
I totally respected that. Another type of performance, just to light this up a little bit, I was the only U.S. person there in many instances in the city, and I found a little stall, a little shop where what they sold was American sheet music, specifically rock and roll sheet music. And when I walked up, I thought, oh, I want to connect with these people. The guy was so into Stevie Ray Vaughan. And I said, hello, I'm from Texas. He said, you're from, I said, he said, did you know him? I know I didn't know Stevie Ray Vaughan, but there's a statue of him. And all I could remember about Stevie Ray Vaughan. And when that guy who owned that spot all the way in Nepal stepped away from his display case, he was wearing an I Love Fort Worth t-shirt. And kid you not.
Wow, that's cool.
And it turned out he had a connection to somebody in Fort Worth who was from Nepal, who immigrated here and worked at a convenience store really close to TCU.
Wow.
And I said, please give me that person's address. I'm going to go find them and give them a greeting from you. So I said, you know what? I'm going to sing some blues because nobody here is going to stop me. Billie Holiday isn't here. Aretha isn't here. So I'm going to represent. And there was a guy who played guitar, and he backed me up. And I was just there on the front stoop singing the blues. And that felt very international, that moment there.
Wow, that's amazing. To see a guy with I Love Fort Worth.
That too, yeah.
That's cool. Do you implement a lot of music when it comes to your poetry writing?
I do a lot, actually. I used to have a band in Austin.
Wow.
Tammy Gomez con la palabra, where it was four of us in the band, and then drums, bass, and guitar. And we'd enter in the rehearsal process with me first reading the poem numerous times. And then they would just, they'd all have everything all set up, but like Tony would be sitting with his guitar. He's like, okay, say that part again. And he'd start playing. So we'd create music organically for each poem. And yeah, we performed a lot all around Texas and South by Southwest Music Festival. We played twice. We got an official showcase, and it was a blast. I declared that I wanted to recite poetry that made people want to dance,
I love
to
that.
really engage
Yeah,
them
I love that.
with the music. Like once the music catches them, they'll listen to the words. And it happened.
Yeah.
So,
Wow. Now it's funny you say that because I notice with a lot of poets that I'm connected to, they do use the concept of the musicians, whether it's the guitarist, the drummer, the piano, to kind of set the atmosphere. So when they speak, it draws the audience. So I do see that a lot with different poets, male or female. And me being a natural born dancer, that's gonna draw me easy. Yeah, I love to dance. That's my passion. And so the fact that you mentioned that, yeah, you want engagement.
for sure.
You want engagement.
I'm going to drop a recommendation. My favorite San Francisco-based artist, Tango Eisen Martin, just dropped a new release titled Traveling Shoes. It's on all the streaming channels. It's amazing. It's remarkable. The music is just incredible. And of course, his words flow over it.
Wow.
And yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
You've done a lot. So for you, what are some upcoming projects that you're working on, some things that we can, I guess, share with our online community, whether it be the end of this year, next year? What are some things that you're working on?
I'd like to invite people to the open mic that I host the second Sunday of every month. And that's in Fort Worth at Arts Fifth Avenue, which is in the heart of the Fairmount neighborhood. And it's called Second Sunday Spoken Word. So you remember when it happens, second Sundays from 6 to 8 p.m. And it's an open mic. And we've been doing it for going on 5 years.
Wow.
And it's amazing. And people show up from all over the Metroplex, and even people traveling through that read about it online and they want to engage and come listen to live poetry.
Wow.
So that's important to me. But I also have some art up at Kinfolk House right now, the place in Poly that I mentioned earlier. I'm part of a group show titled Inner Space. And so I have some visual art there, believe it or not. So I'm kind of branching out into doing some visual art.
I love that.
And because of the theme Inner Space, I'm going to be presenting my one-woman show at Kinfolk House in October.
Wow.
October 25th, that's a Saturday at 2 p.m. And my musician friend Ramsey Sprague is flying in from Alabama to back me up.
Wow.
So he plays the live musical score, guitar, and these, the electronic gadgets. So he's going to be there with me. And the show is about an hour. And I've performed it many, many times before. And it's based on an absolutely true experience I had of being trapped in my own bedroom closet for 2.5 days. So that's the concept. What happened to me in here while I was trapped in a closet for 2.5 days trying to get out?
Wow.
Because I had to save myself, and I did. And I've got the door. It's in the gallery to prove how I got out. I carved a hole in the door.
Wow.
To be able to open the latch
Yes.
to let myself out. And so that's a pretty special story to share.
Yeah.
And so that's October 25th on a Saturday. People can register to attend. I believe it's free admission. Kinfolk House is very generous to offer those kinds of opportunities. Kinfolkhouse.org
Gotcha.
is the place to register.
Gotcha.
Other than that, yeah, just whatever comes up next.
Yeah.
I think I'm doing a reading in Austin at a place called Book Woman. It's a female-owned bookstore in March of 2026.
Gotcha. And also, you'll be our opening act this Saturday.
Oh, wow.
Latin nights.
Yeah, just in a couple of nights.
Yeah, in a couple of nights, Latin nights at the Forest Hill Public Library, 6962 Forest Hill Drive. It's going to be amazing. We also have the Tejano Heat, a great band who came to our concert last year.
What kind of music do they play? What's their style?
If I can remember, help me out, Noemi.
Is it Tejano or Chicano rock or soul?
I can't remember.
They're good.
I just know, yes. I just know that they're good, Miss Tammy. But yeah, they came to our concert last year, and for me, I listen to all kinds of music, no matter who you are, no matter the genre. I love all styles, and that comes from my wife because she's a person that broadens her horizon with different music. But like I mentioned earlier, Miss Tammy Gomez will be the opening act this Saturday here at the Forest Hill Public Library at our Latin Nights. It's going to be a phenomenal time. Pre-sale tickets are still $20 right now. $30 at the door. You can purchase those tickets online on our website. But we're looking forward to a great time. We're looking forward to having you. I definitely want to hear it. I've listened to some of your poetry on YouTube, some clips that you have, and so I'm definitely excited for you to open it
Thank
up
you.
for us.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I also have a SoundCloud, which might be a little hard to find, but there's
That's
some other
stuff.
work on SoundCloud
Gotcha.
as well.
Gotcha. Going back to some of the partnerships and things that you've done, studying your bio, you've done a lot. You've traveled the world. You've done a lot of workshops and different things of the sort. So you also collaborated with organizations like Mexic Art Museum
In Austin,
and Oak Cliff Cultural Arts Center. Just kind of share with us the importance of partnership. And the reason why I say this is because that's one big thing that we emphasize here at the Forest Hill Public Library. Me being over programming and making sure that I'm connecting with the right people, different partnerships, that way we can have these innovative programs, whether it be for the seniors, the teens, the kids, it doesn't matter the age group, but making sure that we can take it to another level. So how important are these partnerships to you?
I think they're critical because it gets me out of my home and into the public sphere. I'm always looking for ways to be in the marketplace of ideas. You know, you have to exit your home. I mean, you could sit at home all day and be a, internet, typing in all warrior, whatever they call us, where you're just voicing your opinion via the internet. But to be in person is to more fully engage with the people around you. And when your missions align, like with the Oak Cliff Cultural Center in Oak Cliff, your missions align. You just feel like you're going to another home, to another safe harbor, as I put it, with Mexicarte, safe harbor. Mexicarte is an art gallery and museum right in downtown Austin on Congress Street. When you go out the main entrance of Mexicarte and look to your right, there's the state capitol, just a few blocks away. And I used to do a lot of art performances and visual art and teaching, working with youth there. And I felt like it was a safe harbor. And what I mean by that, it's like a place where I can create work and feel like my mission aligns with the aligns with the mission of the organization. And, it's like maybe they say, we're going to do this project or this exhibit, but we need a poet. Who knows a poet? Oh, let's try Tammy. So then I fit in, I align with their mission and their project initiative concepts. So then, I come in and then they lay it down. This is the concept, or this is the vision for this piece. How can you fit in? Oh, I'll write some new work, or I have some in my back pocket, or I also have a band I work with. You want to hear the band too? And then it gets really exciting because you're co-creating. There's collaboration. That's such an important word to me. So going to different nonprofits and doing work that fits in with their vision is a way to build your audience, get you further exposure, complement the good work that they're doing, like being here at a public library here in Forest Hill is complementing and hopefully serving the mission, that y'all are adhering to in the moment. And I think that's how artists can serve nonprofits.
I agree. Going back to partnerships, when I first started here last year, we done a couple of poetry workshops. A guy named Mike Gwynn, who's well known, in the space. So we use him to host, those workshops in regards to writing, putting those things together. And so I thought that was very, very amazing to see these different poets from all walks of life come in here, put together this workshop, and giving that space to, like you mentioned, co-create. Collaboration and is very, very important. So that really, really blew me away when I seen it. And then even hosting other events where we gave artists, spoken word artists, musicians, singers, rappers a platform to share their gift and share their level of creativity. And so we're really, really, really big on partnership and collaboration, because that's how you move to the next level. You can't do it by yourself. So.
Well, there's a lot of feel good in getting like 2,000 likes or 9,000 followers on Instagram or Facebook. But the thing about in-person engagement and knowing seeing the spark in people's eyes,
Yeah.
like a child who has never seen anybody do what you do. And you're in her home city. And I often do that. I mention that when I do events. Like, I live here, I'm accessible.
Yeah.
Like, I can come to your school again, hint, hint to the teacher or the principal in the room. I'm available and I can serve your mission with you. But because look at that kid's eyes. What I said resonated with them. How I look resonates with them. Like, I look like their tia or their abuela or their, the nice lady down the street who makes homemade tortillas and, blasts her cumbia, whatever. Like, you made a connection with me and I live here. I'm not a faraway person.
Yeah.
I'm the Chicana Maya Angelou in your backyard.
I love it.
Use me, include me.
Yes.
I'm here for you. I'm here for us,
Yeah. I love it. I love it. So you are the founder of Sound Culture. So what was the inspiration in creating this platform and going forth with that?
Boy, do we need sound culture right now. It's like, to me, the meaning of that, to break it down, is sound, because it's about what I speak or what I say, and also music or however I perform that makes an audio strikes the ears. But it's also about culture and what is sound culture, what is healthy culture. When they say a house is very sound, it's well made, it's got good bones, it's got a healthy foundation.
Yes, yes, yes.
Sound culture is, a name that works for me in terms of what I want people to think about when they see the work that I bring out or propose or prepare for them. But it also involves a lot of collaboration. So there's a term I've come up with, sound culture specialists. And they're the the friends and the folks who have collaborated with me.
Right.
So I have a lot of sound culture specialists who are better at technical engineering.
Yeah.
Hats off to Noemi today.
Shout out to Noemi.
Doing the tech on this podcast production. But people who dance better than me, people who, and you got to bring all those talents in.
Yes,
and then we complement each other.
Yes.
We fill out the ingredient list of what, the beautiful recipe we're working on for sound culture, and just bringing people together and multicultural people together.
Yes.
I think, and putting our work in front of an audience, just, oh, look at what all those people who look different were able to create together. That's beautiful. That's hot. That's real.
Yeah.
More of that, please.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Diversity is very, very important. Having the ability to be flexible, having the ability to adapt to different cultures, different walks of life. That's pretty much me, man. I'm a person that loves to serve in any capacity. It doesn't matter where you come from and what you look like. How can we work together? How can we collab? How can we make sure that what we're giving out to the world and to the community is sustainable? And so, no, I definitely agree with that. Yeah.
And you find that your world grows bigger. Who doesn't want to live in a big world? When I think about, like a small-minded person is a small-worlded person. Their world is so small. They only know that person here, and like, oh, that's so tight. You don't have any wiggle room.
Yeah.
How are you going to expand? How are you going to reach out and hug and embrace if you don't have, you push the walls out so that there's more space for people to engage with you. Let them in, bring them in, or you go out and be with them.
Yes. That's also part of my role here at the library, is community engagement, outreach, making sure that I'm going to different places and spaces and connecting with people and partnering with people, bringing them here. I'm working on a partnership with Frost Bank. They're in the process of opening the bank, and so I met with them at a coffee and tea event, and so we scheduled a meeting. They came here and they were blown away by how the library looks. I'm like, man, it's so well put together.
It is amazing.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it gives a good feel.
Yeah, it gives a good feel. It gives a home feel. And so one thing that we hone in on is the word family. When people come through these doors, doesn't matter where you come from. That's one word that we hone in on, is family. Making sure that the library is a welcoming space that you can come in and sit down and do your homework, or get on the computer, or whatever you're doing, making sure that you're comfortable when you come in here. So, I love the community engagement part. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm a person. I'm a people's person. I can connect with anybody. I can have a conversation with anybody. And there's principles and values that my grandmother, who I mentioned earlier, taught me, being able to love on people, no matter where they come from. And so I believe that's one of my strongest attributes. But yeah, it's important.
I thank her for raising you.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank God for my grandmother, man, who instilled those principles in me early. Yeah, I love it. I love it. What are some most memorable projects or performances you've directed or produced through Sound Coach? I'm pretty sure you did a lot, but what are some of the ones that were like, yeah, this was special?
The biggest one was She Bike Spoke Love, which was my full-length bicycle theater play. And it involved bicycling on stage. And all of my cast, there were 11 cast members and about 13 bikes in the play. And we used one as a prop, a set piece, but there were actual scenes where the actors are bicycling like in a circle, a figure 8, and they're having a dialogue. And there was also hip hop music. It was considered a hip hop theater work,
Right.
and I produced it in 2007. That one was really special. It got great reviews, and I'm very proud of that. But the one I want to talk about that really gets my heart too is called By Any Stretch. And that's one where I put out a call for some of my friends who are artists to be in the show. So there were about 20 of us in that one. And the prompt was very simple. I said, you have 3 minutes. Each of you will have 3 minutes. You'll be on the stage. And this was at the Modern Art Museum in Fort Worth. Music will be playing. It was Beethoven music, I believe. And when you go up for your 3 minutes, I want you to be thinking about the most important moment in your life that you wish could last 24 hours. And so each of the 20 people wrote their story, a moment in their past life, their lived experience that they wish could be expanded for 24 hours. And then when you're on the stage, I want you to act like you're writing it in the air, writing that story. And so what it ends up is they're dancing. And many of them didn't think of them as dancers.
That's cool.
And I said, imagine if you're holding like a piece of chalk, or maybe you've got a Sharpie and you're writing on a wall, or maybe you got a big paintbrush and you've got sweeping gestures, and you're feeling it. And many of them wrote about giving birth to a child, or holding their first grandchild in their arms for the first time.
Wow.
I wrote about when my father passed and how I went to a hot springs. It's one of my favorite places on the planet, in Colorado, and was there in the steaming hot waters, looking up in the sky as it was snowing, and the snow was melting on me because we were outside, and thinking about my father and about his spirit being free of pain, no longer in physical pain from his illness. So that was a lovely piece. That's online. You can watch it. It's a YouTube video now, By Any Stretch. And it's very moving. And I would like to do that piece again, but with young people, and having them write something and then they perform it without words, just gesture and movement.
Wow.
But the key part is that their writing is on the screen. So the audience is reading what each person wrote. It's above their heads while that person's standing there who wrote it. And so it becomes a reading event. Everybody's reading for an hour.
Wow.
I'm going to move with that concept. I'm going to keep moving with that one.
That's an amazing concept. I've never heard anything like that. That's cool. It's funny you mentioned illustrating without words. So one of my areas of dance is the mime ministry, face paint, and basically having the ability to illustrate a song without using words, body language, facial expression, emotion, footwork, all these different elements of the mime ministry to share a story without even verbally speaking. That's something I've been doing for over 10 years. I already had the natural ability to dance. Two of my friends from high school, we formed a group early 2000s, and then from there, man, it just took off. We were all these different events, performing and serving and blessing people. So now I still do it do a bunch of solos. But yeah, and I'll be surprised with people who are moved. I share a story. Me and one of my friends, Brandon, we put a piece together, a song named "Break Every Chain" by Tasha Cobbs, gospel singer, and did the piece. We made it up probably like 2 or 3 days. We went to perform at a building in Fort Worth Stockyards. Great piece, great performance. And then as we're leaving, an Hispanic mother and daughter comes up to us, and the daughter was like, "Man, you don't know how powerful that piece blessed me." She was like, "I was almost on the verge of committing suicide, and because of this piece you shared with me, it really gave me hope. It gave me life." And so, going back to what you're saying, man, I've been in so many spaces to where me using my gift helped save someone else. So,
And you
yeah.
never know how it's going to hit
Yes.
and who you're saving.
Yeah.
But that's why artists need to be out.
Yes.
And we need to
yes.
be invited. We need to be invited to be
Yeah.
out, because we can grace your, your potluck, backyard barbecue,
Yeah.
whatever it is, or
Yeah.
a formal event like a
Right.
church or a bigger institution.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have a friend who used to say art saves souls, or
Yeah.
art saves
Art
lives.
saves life. I love that.
hmm
Yeah.
And we're doing that one person at a time. And
Yes.
sometimes we don't know that we've done that because they don't tell us
Yeah.
that we've made that impact.
Yeah. I agree. Staying around you putting together sound culture, how do you decide which stories belong on the page as a poetry versus being on the stage as plays? How do you diversify that? 'Cause I'm pretty sure you wrote in a bunch of pieces. You probably have stuff that you probably haven't used, and so how do you diversify that?
That's the biggest struggle for me to this day. And I think it's a blessing when you have so many talents and you're not sure, oh, am I going to tap dance this, mime this,
Yes,
or is
yeah,
this going to be a musical for the stage on Broadway, like
right,
Lynn Miranda? It's like, oh, and it requires a lot of inner dialogue and listening, and then honoring the vision. Like, how do you see it in your head? Is it high production, or is it just something that needs to be out as soon as possible because there's a time factor? Like, the issue is of the moment.
yeah,
The topic at hand needs to be shared now, um, especially if there's like conflict or strife going on around you in a neighborhood or city, nation, and you're like, this piece will respond to that in a way that I think could help heal. And then
yeah,
you're like,
yeah.
oh, let me just do it fast, and get it out there.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
then I'll call on those sound culture specialists who
Yeah.
I've already worked with. I'm like, I need some music, 5 minutes, and hey, digital projection. Can you work on some slides? I've got some ideas for images, and then quickly, round up the folks to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is hard when you want to make a big impact, but then sometimes that time factor kind of pushes you to get it out there
Yeah,
faster.
get it out there faster.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love how you mentioned that art is a form of healing. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Yeah, so many ways, so many variations of art. As you can see around this library event we just had here recently. I don't know how to say it in Spanish. How you say it again? Yeah, what she
Cantaritos con corazón.
Yes. We just had that side. It was an amazing event.
Cantaritos is like little songs or little voices. Okay, so you're painting
Yeah,
little pots or
pots,
pictures,
yes.
little vessels
Yes.
with love.
Yes, yes. It was an amazing event. We had about 24 people, adults and children. We had the hopefully I'm saying this right, chicharrones.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, with the
Oh yeah.
with the hot sauce, and she made some drinks, and yeah, it was a phenomenal time. Like I mentioned earlier, making sure that we are meeting the needs of the community. What does the community want? Making sure we're celebrating that in all aspects of. But no, it was an amazing time. Yeah, it was amazing. Do you find audiences engage differently with multimedia work compared to traditional theater or poetry readings? Do you see a differentiation in regards to that?
Yeah, especially now in the digital era that we're in.
Yeah.
People like all kinds of flashes and the bells and whistles, and it takes a lot to engage people in person because they're so used to HD TV and like a lot of fireworks going off. So if it's just you at the mic, you better bring it with some style, some flavor, sabor, movimiento. Even a small gesture can make a difference. Like I have a poem, touch, snap, clap, tap, touch, snap, clap, tap. Like learning that. Like I had to teach myself, like how do you match the words with the movement?
Wow,
And I
yeah,
used to do
same
that.
here.
That little
Yeah.
poem was for children, K-5, and you'd see them really wake up as opposed to me just flipping like, and then the poem rhymed, and it was very, they're not going to engage as much.
Yeah.
So it depends on the audience,
Yeah.
if you want to really get them to be alert and absorb it in a way that inspires them.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to bring it big, bring some extra chicharrones or whatever.
Yeah, I agree. Going back to being in the art form of mime ministry, when I prepare, I literally make sure I spend a lot of time with the song. That way I understand the lyrics, I understand the sound, I understand transition, I understand pause, all the different elements of the song. So when I articulate it before the crowd, I'm like, wow, you put a lot of emphasis on that one particular word or that sentence, whatever the case may be. So yeah, I definitely love being able to share that.
And when you perform in front of your peers, they get it even more because they understand the work that it took to get there.
Yes,
I watch a lot of reels, video reels where there's a hip hop or pop and lock performers,
yes,
and their audience are fellow competitors or people who are also creators of that kind of dance style, and you just see how they're just eating it up. They love it because it's like, oh wow, you just invented something new. I'm going to practice that now.
Yes, yes, yes.
So I think, it's why not bring it bigger, bring extra? Why not?
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm familiar with that style of dance too. That's old school. Yeah, I love that. Your work has received grants from Humanities Texas, the Ford Foundation, and others. What does that kind of support mean to you, being committed to community and activism, having those partnerships?
Oh gosh, it's a huge breakthrough in terms of financial support, but it's also, again, validation for the vision that you have and the kind of art that you want to create that no one else is creating. So you feel a little singular in that, and there's responsibility in that
Yes.
singularity.
Yeah.
Like, they invested in me, the check's coming, and I'm gonna need to really work on this now. Like it's gonna come together. And so there's affirmation, encouragement, the financial support is awesome. I like to mention, I don't mention it often enough, that I live in Fort Worth. That's where my home and my bed is, my workplace and my closest friends and my family. But when I pay, because with this money I pay other artists, I spend money in the local economy. I'm boosting the local economy with that grant money. So that is an economic boost that even individual artists give. So it's not just the big institutions like the opera or the symphony. It's also individual artists who get grants. They put that money back into the economy. So I'm a big proponent of individual artist grants. Pay your artists because they're going to spend that money where they live. Come on.
Yeah.
Encourage that.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. Definitely need to be paid, for what you're worth. And like you mentioned earlier, people don't understand the work that it takes, the work that you've done behind the scenes, the sacrifice, the countless nights, the long hours. And so I definitely agree with making sure people are compensated, for what they do. So yeah, that's definitely important. You've led residents and workshops across the country. What do you hope participants carry with them after working with you? What is that last impression? I know you mentioned Maya Angelou earlier. I paraphrase. I think she has a quote that says, "It's not about what you've done, but how you make them feel." And so, what are some of those last impressions of some of those people for you?
Well, I while you're asking that, I was already like thinking, okay, I want people to, I would hope that people who are passive leave active.
I
You
like
leave
that.
you arrive passive, leave active.
I
Like,
like
oh,
that.
I'm gonna do this, even if it's something like I'm gonna read a book now, or I'm gonna buy her book and I'm gonna read it, or I'm gonna buy her book, read it, and give it to somebody else. Or I'm gonna buy her book, read it, and give it to the library. Donate it to a library. And yes, libraries accept donations of books, so think about that. But also, I've been approached by people, and these are younger people, let's say high school age, maybe 2 or 3 times, and they have shown me what they started writing while I was reading to them.
Mm.
And one of them in particular, I remember she said, "I'm so sorry, Miss, but I got so much out of the first few poems. I stopped listening and I got my spiral notebook out and this is what I wrote. Can I read it to you?" And I said, "First of all, no offense taken, because that is my goal, is to get you to be active, for you to be inspired to tell
Yeah.
your own story. I just shared mine, and I can go on and on forever about mine, but you telling your story, please, we want your book on this
On the
shelf right here.
shelf. I
There's
love
room.
it.
Look, there's room here. There's
Yeah.
room for your book.
I
And
love
ain't
it.
nobody gonna write it, and there isn't anyone who should write it for you. I tell them there's a journalism students in colleges studying for how to write about you. Don't let them be the only ones writing about you when they start becoming reporters, writing articles. You write about you because you lived your own life. You know best
I love
how
that.
that life was lived.
Yeah.
And so that inspiration, if they can become active participants,
Yes.
I've won.
You won.
I've
That's a
won.
win. Yeah, that's well said. Come passive, but leave active. Yeah, I love that. I love that. As we put a wrapper on the show, we close with my very fun, important segment of "What's Your Library Joy?" As we take a moment to kind of share our experiences with libraries, how we've grown in libraries, and then I'll close with asking Miss Tammy her insight and thought in regards to our beautiful library expansion display is on the right of us. So Miss Tame, just kind of walk us through your journey of your experiences with libraries.
Um, well, my mother was so much of a book lover and a learner to this day.
Yeah.
Every book I bring over to show her, a newsletter, she immediately wants to read it or borrow it. And like, yes, I love that. 81 and still learning. She took me and my sister to the first library, public library in Fort Worth, and it's by where La Grande Plaza is.
Yes.
They're on Bolt Street. And from about the age of 5 or 6, I was checking out books and usually leaving with a big stack. And it was my intention at that young age to read all of the books in the children's section alphabetically by the authors. So I was starting with all the
Wow.
A's and the B's.
That's crazy.
And I don't know, in my little brain, I thought there was a finite number of books and that I could get through them all. And then by the time I got to B or D or something, I realized the librarians were adding new books in the AC. I'm like, why are they doing that? They're messing up my plan. And then you come to realize it's a forever thing. New
Yes,
books, new
forever.
authors are
Yes.
coming in, and you can't read them all. This is where you get to articulate, your preferences as the topic. So that place has it's forever in my heart. It doesn't exist anymore as a library. I'm sad about that, but that place was epic for me.
Wow. What are some books that you are currently reading now in order to enhance your creativity in your work?
I like to read the books of my peers. I receive a lot of gifts of
Yeah.
books all the time, and friends who are writers do book swaps. I'm currently reading a play script by a playwright based in Dallas, Jonathan Norton, and he is now associated with the Dallas Theater Center. So he's kind of a local who's making it big and calling the shots and making bigger decisions in the theater world in the Dallas area and beyond. So I'm reading his play script. I'm also reading a novel by a young Latino author from South Texas.
Okay.
And magazine articles and online. I'm always stretching.
Yeah.
Really. And about this library, I saw the schematics the
Yes,
proposed
yes,
enhancement
yes.
and expansion of this branch. I'm so excited for the future of Forest Hill Public Library. I've been physically at the site at least 3 times now, and every time I come, I just feel the influence of the current staff and their vision, and
Mm,
supported by the board. I know that's important
yes,
to all be on the same page with
yes.
how this place can grow and serve the community. And yeah, small places can do big things,
I love it.
but bigger places can do bigger things.
Yes, yes, yes. I agree with that. With the staff, that we have, like you mentioned, we've done a lot of big, big things with the people that we have. We all have different skill sets, all have different levels of creativity. But we come together, we work together, like you mentioned earlier, being co-creators.
Mhm.
How can we come together as a team and making sure that we're putting in innovative programming from seniors all the way down to the little kids. And so we've had innovative programs from our STEM camps to our teen cooking class to our adult programming with mocktails and music. Like I mentioned earlier, we bring in different poets and musicians, giving them the platform to share their gifts. And so we've had a line of things, making sure that we're meeting, the needs of the community. Even I mentioned earlier, expanding Heritage Month with the event we just had,
Mhm.
and it was an amazing event. And so, yeah, the staff that we have, we've done big things. But like you mentioned earlier, as we grow, we'll be able to do even bigger things, with the expansion. And so, I'm definitely excited to where we're going. I'm excited about what it would look like even on the outside. I know I showed you the ranch style look, how it would look. So when people are driving down Forest Hill Circle, appearance is everything. Having the ability to draw them in. So when they see the outside visual, they're like, okay, if it looks like that on the outside, I can imagine what it looks like on the inside. And so, yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, I'm excited. Any closing words you want to share with those who are listening?
Well, first of all, I want to say, please invite me to the grand reopening. Once that is done,
Yes, you gotta come
however
back.
long it takes to do it right,
Right.
let that time happen. But yeah, I'll be wanting to come and celebrate y'all in the expansion once it's completed for sure. And then, yeah, this being Hispanic Heritage Month, I think it's important to reach out to all of the Latinx people in your community and help them get access to the resources, the books, the art, the stories,
Yes.
the
Yes.
comida, the rich cultural engagement that we have to share. Also, if you can, support people in your neighborhoods who maybe don't feel safe today. Help them feel safe. Just touch base with people who might need assistance. The elders in your neighborhood, and the youngers as well, because we're all everybody is, life is pinching a little bit more than usual lately, and it's important to reach out and make sure that you can do what you can to help others feel safe. And you can do that by reading a book to them, reciting a poem, or just a little smile and a gesture of friendliness goes a long, long way.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
It's been a pleasure to talk
It's
to
been a
you.
pleasure.
It's
It
been
was
so
amazing.
fun.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great
for being on the
questions.
show.
Thank you.
Appreciate your warm words. This is Ordinary Conversations with Extraordinary People. We definitely had an extraordinary conversation on today. Me learning more about the culture and what Miss Tammy does. I'm definitely grateful for the things that you've done and continue to go
Thank you.
and move forward. So stay tuned. Meet us as we kick off the month of October strong with another poet, African American, GF Soldier, who's well known in the poetry, spoken word space, phenomenal. This guy has a way with words. It's just crazy. But y'all stay tuned. He'll be our first guest in the month of October. We'll see y'all soon. Peace.